Hello, everybody, and welcome to Books Unbound, the podcast where we unbind books to get to their hearts with your hosts, us. It's Ariel and
Raylene. Hi.
And we are next to the mini truck. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We are out here in my driveway next to the miniature truck because we're introducing this really fun episode. Am I allowed to? It was really fun.
I had a good time.
We did have a good time.
Yeah.
While Raylene has been here visiting me, we decided to do a miniature truck event.
Yes, and it was
/ Books Unbound meetup.
Yeah.
Where we got to meet a bunch of you guys. And so much happened that we thought, actually, let's do a full episode where we dive into what it was like.
Yeah.
The books we ordered, the books we sold, the people we met, the things that you bought from the truck. Like, a lot happened, and we wanted to share that.
Yeah, real peek behind the curtain. I know that a lot of people requested that we live stream the event.
Oh, yeah.
Would have been impossible. Let me just tell you, after going through it, it was impossible for me to keep track of a list of books.
Yeah.
Just a little spoiler alert. So
so
I wish we could have, but it was impossible. So this is the closest thing we could do to kind of document the event.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah.
So we are now going to go inside and tell you all about the event with the miniature truck.
Yes.
So we're now inside and we're going to walk you through what happened. And we're going to start with the prep, the ordering.
I was so excited for this part.
So I was really sick. We
Yeah.
had decided on a day we were going to meet. And I ended up being really, really sick. So we got pushed a bit. But we did end up doing a phone call.
Yeah.
Where basically we were just sat on this call and Raylene was like, what about this book? And I'd look it up and I would order it. And what about this book? And so together we put together the list of books that we wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should talk about what we picked and what kind of stuff we were going for.
Yeah, okay. So one of the things we had to think about was what special categories did we want to have? Because as you guys all probably know by now, Ariel's truck has not that many shelves, so there are very specific cool categories, and you've been tailoring them to the different events you've been doing, right?
Yes.
And so we were like, what's the thing about this event? And we noodled around with a lot of ideas.
There was a lot floating around.
We were like, maybe we can do something that's like coast to coast, books about friendship. We were trying to think of something that made sense for us. Books about podcasts was something we considered for 0.1 seconds.
Well, we liked the idea. It's just, there's only 2.
Yeah, it's very difficult to actually make happen. And so what we actually ended up landing on was books that are perfect for autumn.
Yes.
Because we're like, wait, it's possibly the last truck event
Yes.
of the year,
Yeah.
right? And so this could be something that just leaves people into fall, and so we were like, let's order some fall books.
Yeah.
So we kind of leaned into that. We got Practical Magic, we got some Shirley Jackson, stuff like that, because I was like, since I'm going to be there, it would be fun to get some horror. So we didn't go too far into the horror, but we were things that are autumnal, that are happy vibes.
Yeah.
That's kind of that was the new category that we leaned into anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking at what we ordered. Briefly A Delicious Life was for that one. Pet Cemetery was
Secret
for that
History.
one. Oh yeah, The Secret History.
So there were a few, and Through the Woods, that was one of our
Through
favorite
the
graphic
Woods.
novels. We love that.
Was there any other? Oh yeah, Practical Magic. You said that.
Yeah. So it was a smaller category than we meant for it to be. I think we didn't really order a ton, which was fine.
But you know what? It didn't sell as well as I thought it would.
I know.
So I'm kind of glad we didn't order too many, because
it was shocking. I feel like the women losing their minds or unsound women section did wonderful.
Always.
So we were we lean into that as well. I tried to order a few kind of funky, interesting new things.
Yeah.
And I feel like it worked out pretty well. But yeah, the ordering process was really fun because, as I've mentioned on the podcast before, I used to work in a bookstore. So ordering books was my favorite thing to do at the bookstore.
Yeah.
I was it was mostly used books, but of course there was a time where I was but we're always missing this, and this, because they're impossible to find used. And so I just love ordering things. And so it was fun to be a part of that again and just be could you order that? And you were like, sure. I'd be like, order that. And you'd be like, yeah.
And then we added everything to my cart.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this is thousands of dollars worth of books. We need to cut some out. And then we went through and filtered okay, actually we don't need that one. And we don't need 3 of those. We just need 1 of them or whatever. And got it down.
Yeah. And I special ordered a book, which we'll get to later when we get to the kind of haul. But there is one book that I've really been wanting to get. And for some reason, it's impossible to get through Indigo, I think. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm imagining that. But I just knew I was ugh. it's going to be hard to get that one. So maybe I'll just see if Ariel can order it for me. And you did. I can see it on the screen right now. So that was nice. I had ulterior motives in helping with the ordering. I was like, well, I'm going to be there. And I'd rather buy a book from a friend.
Sneak some in.
Yeah. Although she's kind of just given them to me. So
yeah, I didn't make you buy them.
She's too nice.
I've absorbed that cost.
Yeah. We did good work on the day.
I'm looking at, like, I order from lots of different distributors. And one of the distributors I've used is Book Outlet because they're a discount place. And so I can buy them for really cheap and sell them for pretty cheap. So it's a win-win for everyone. And these are books that have been returned. So basically a remainder book is a book that a bookshop purchased from the publisher, from the distributor. It was sent to the bookshop and the bookshop never sold it. And so they returned it. They were like, we weren't able to sell this. We don't want it in our shop anymore. Yeah. So they return it. Those returned books are in perfect condition, are perfect books, have never been read, but for some reason have been marked as remaindered.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It doesn't make sense to me. And they will get marked with a permanent marker at the bottom or the top of the pages. Yeah. You'll see a black or a red marker mark, which is just wild because it's still a book in perfect condition.
They could have just left it.
But suddenly it's worth like a quarter of the value. And so you can buy them for really cheap and they're great quality books. So I always look here. We were able to get some of our classics. So You've Been Publicly Shamed, which I don't think we sold any of.
Yeah.
84 Charing Cross Road, which we did convince someone to buy.
Yeah.
The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating, I got 5 copies because whenever that one's available, I order it because I can't find it on the other distributors.
Yeah, it's nowhere else.
Some Anne of Green Gables, some Practical Magic, and amazingly, The Woman in the Purple Skirt.
Yeah,
I was able to get at really
cool
discount.
Find.
So that was great. What else did we order? Oh, some of the ones that were on back order that didn't arrive in time.
Oh, yeah, this was sad. We would have sold these for sure.
I think so. We had I Who Have Never Known Men, which I don't really know much about, but
it's a really cool book that I think lots more people should know about. I've been seeing it in bookstores lately, so I feel like it's like an older book. It came out in, I want to say, the 90s.
Oh, okay.
And it's like kind of apocalyptic. It's about this, like, there's 40 women who are basically underground and they've been kept in a cage.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah, and like the youngest person is who the story is told. It's told from her perspective, and she is like, I don't know, 16 or something, and she's never seen a man before in her life. So that's kind of why the title comes from. And it's just like about their journey from there. But it's so interesting. It's a really cool book.
Okay, that's cool. And then the other one that didn't come in time was Men Have Called Her Crazy.
Damn, that would have been good.
Yeah, which is funny because now they're going to arrive and I'm not going to know what to do with them.
Yeah, that's tough.
They're going to sit in a box until next year.
Rough.
And then from Ingram, I ordered a lot. I like Ingram, like, because they always have the editions that I want, and it's a little bit more expensive because it's American, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it for the copies.
Yeah, I missed Ingram. At my bookstore that I used to work at, we would order from Ingram all the time, and then the exchange rate got too bad, and so we stopped.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really, really terrible to lose out on that avenue because, they really do have a lot of cool books on there.
I see The Count of Monte Cristo here. That's from, I think we put that in classics, but it's supposed to be on CJ's shelf. That's a book my brother thinks I think.
That's what you get when you let me shelve the books.
No. You did really good at shelving. I guess we'll talk about that. But I remember somebody bought that one.
Yeah.
Crying in H Mart bought a couple of those, sold them. Yep. People love buying that book.
I know. It seems
all
like
year.
Every time.
Every time I've done an event, people buy that book.
Yeah.
We did sell The God of the Woods. We got one copy.
Yay.
And we sold it. I remember the girl who bought that book.
Yeah, that was awesome.
On a Sunbeam, I saw someone pick it up, but no one bought it.
So close.
What else? What else is popping out at you here?
Well, we got some Pet Cemetery, which was for our autumnal section as well. And because you're going to be reading that soon. Right?
Yep.
Little teaser.
Little teaser trailer there. Tress of the Emerald Sea, somebody bought.
Yep.
Oh, Frankenstein.
Oh, those Frankenstein. We should show a picture of the Frankenstein edition.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And
I bought
sold
this,
both.
Yeah, we sold both. I bought this really cool edition of Frankenstein. And it's hardcover and it's like neon colors and it's really beautiful. It's almost like a Halloween decoration.
Yeah. I've seen the couple of guys who bought them. I've seen their Instagrams, and they've both like posted pictures of that Frankenstein because it is like a set piece.
It's so cool.
It really ties the room together.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Oh, Vanishing Fleece, somebody bought that one.
That's
I remember The Vegetarian, I think somebody bought.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yellow Wallpaper, somebody bought. I told you, I was like, that one sells oddly well.
And it's such a cool copy, the one that you get.
Yeah. And Sheets.
Oh, back ordered.
Didn't arrive.
Sheets was back ordered. There was There was an amazing young girl that I would have loved to recommend.
It was a tragedy. It was a tragedy.
It.
We had this young girl and her parents come and visit, and they visited the truck before.
Yeah.
I think it was when I did the other Halifax event, and they were like, she bought the Prince. I remember recommending it. The Prince and the Dressmaker.
Yeah.
And they were like, she really liked it. Do you have anything similar to that?
Yeah.
And you were like, spinning. You had spinning.
I recommended spinning, and they bought it. And
So
she had purple hair too, which was really cute.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful
whole
interaction.
But we were like, when she left, we were like, damn, if we'd only had Sheets. Sheets by Brenda Thumler would have been perfect. Or the Anne of Green Gables graphic memoir.
Yeah, that was so funny. We got back here, there was a box waiting for Ariel to open. Opened it up. It was 2 copies of the Anne of Green Gables graphic novel.
Tragedy
Strikes.
Tragedy strikes.
That's the life of a bookseller.
Yep. I guess it is.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of the ordering process. We ordered all of the books a couple weeks ago. They arrived. And then I loaded them all into the car, went to the city, brought the truck, and you arrived on Saturday night.
Yes.
Schedule-wise, it worked out really well because we planned it so that it would happen so early on in your visit.
Yeah.
So Raylene landed Saturday night, and the event was Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And I like that it happened this way because I was very anxious about it. I was worried that it was going to rain. I was worried that the truck wouldn't make it. I was worried that no one would come. I was like worried about all these things because I really wanted it to go well, and I wanted you to have fun, and I wanted it to work out, and I was hoping that like Books Unbound people would come because it was kind of a meetup.
Yeah.
And so I was worried about all these things, and I'm glad that we did it so early on in your visit, because then the rest of the trip I've been
nothing
like,
to worry about.
Nothing to worry about, and it went great. It went so well.
Yes.
And so we've been able to just be jolly about it the whole week. So that's been really good. So Sunday morning. Oh, actually, Saturday night in the nighttime.
Yeah.
We had a really fun adventure with an early birthday present from Connor, my new label maker. We made all new labels for the miniature truck shelves because we had some new shelves that we curated together and stuff. And I was just extremely excited about this label maker. So that was a very big activity.
That was true. We spent at least an hour, I feel like, working on that.
It was awesome.
Ooh, what border should we put around the words? And what emojis should we use? It was a lot of fun.
It was the best. I genuinely had the best time ever. And I ran out of tape because I made so many labels. So then we made those labels, and the next morning woke up and got in the truck. Got dressed,
loaded
got
everything
ready,
up,
loaded stuff up, got in the truck, drove over to the spot, and started setting up. So how did you feel about the setup experience?
The setup was fun. It was very interesting and different from any book selling experience I've had, because obviously it's a truck to start off.
Yeah.
There's one set of shelves, basically. There's a few shelves, but it's all just one thing to look at. And so I was like, okay, yeah, you can really play around with making it pretty, which is fun, especially because we also had merch. Something we also didn't talk about is that I crocheted pumpkins.
Yes!
So I crocheted them in the kind of week leading up to leaving, and I packed them in my suitcase just flat. They were just rectangles that you scrunch up and turn into pumpkins. And I was like, to save space, I'm going to keep them flat. And I said, Ariel, make sure to bring a yarn needle and some stuffing for the pumpkins. And she was like, no problem. That's all good. And so I get there and I'm like, oh yeah, I should really start working on these pumpkins. We got to get ready for tomorrow. And so I was like, bring me the stuff. And so she comes over with these little balls of yarn that have knitting needles stuck into them and handed them to me. And I was like, oh, what are these for? And she was like, your yarn needles. And I said, Ariel, oh no, we have a big problem.
That's actually not how you said it. That was a very kind version. What you said was, these are not yarn needles. And I was like, I thought they were for knitting. And you're like, no.
Well, they are for knitting.
Right, no. You're like, yes, but these yarn needles are different from knitting needles. And I was like,
yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and that's fine.
I did not know that.
That's fine, because you know what she did? She jumped into action.
Yes.
And we figured out an alternative plan, and you amended a bobby pin.
I modified a bobby pin.
So that it could be used as a needle. So I sewed those puppies up, stuffed them, and it was all okay.
Yeah.
But there was a moment of panic.
That was a scary time.
It was really scary. We were trying to make
that was really scary.
We were trying to make a needle out of aluminum foil for a little bit, and that really wasn't going to work.
It was not working at all.
So I sewed up these 3 pumpkins using a bobby pin, stuffed them. It made it all happen. They were beautiful.
They were beautiful.
So we had those on the table. We had your pins, t-shirts, mugs, tote bags, and chickens.
And Malice chickens.
Yeah. So we had a lot of fun. It was fun to set it all up. And we kind of had to rip off the old labels. So I got to choose where things got to go, which was really fun, because that's something that I didn't really get to do much of the bookstore. Like the sections were the sections. Like we moved things around a little bit, but this was more customizable.
Very customizable.
And my shelf was called Ruben's Faves this time. Usually it's called books my best friend thinks you should read, but since I was there, and for some reason we decided to put Ruben on there, and nobody commented on it, which was the weirdest thing.
No one.
We had a conversation with some people about it. I was like, don't you guys think it's weird that it says Ruben's Faves? Like, nobody cares about who that is.
And they're like, what? Who's Ruben? And we were like, never mind.
I know, I was like, I don't want to tell you. So it was really fun being able to customize it. My shelf took up a lot of space because I was there, so I kind of leaned in. I was like, let's order some more of my faves and like bulk it up. And then your section was nice and juicy as well, like some good stuff in there. Yeah. And the classics was really big.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a good move, because the way we set up the shelves were like, you know, you have to have them obviously all left to right. People are going to look at them in a certain order, but because of there being a lot of people there, which we'll talk about, like that was really amazing, was people kind of would start by just staring at the classics shelves for a really long time. As they started to shuffle down, then they get to see the other shelves. But the classics were kind of like, and the cozy fantasy was over there, and kids' books.
Yeah.
So I feel like that, I don't know if that helped, if that influenced, because people were staring at those shelves for quite a long time. I feel like we ended up selling a lot from those categories. So it was fun.
I am surprised at how well classics sell. Like, every time people buy classics, which I guess makes sense, because you're like, I want to buy a book, and this is something I've meant to buy.
Exactly.
So maybe that's the thinking.
It's an easy, like, impulse purchase.
It's an easy
because
win.
it's like, I would have bought this eventually anyway.
Yes.
So I may as well buy. And a lot of the ones you get are really nice copies, to be fair.
I do prioritize beautiful editions.
Yeah, so a lot of the covers are enticing.
Yeah, so then, so we'd set up the truck, and Connor and Kyle brought us coffee.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
And we just stood there, and we were like, okay, we're like basically ready. We were just doing like the last minute things, and I was like, God, I hope somebody comes. Yeah. Oh my God.
No people for a few minutes. We stood there for a good few minutes, just like.
And then hilariously, some of my friends showed up, Felix and her wife showed up, and we were like, oh, this is okay. We've got somebody's here. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, I feel like I turned around and there was a line.
There was a lineup.
Which it was just like all of a sudden there was a lineup, and that lineup stayed for like over an hour.
Yeah.
It was really busy. We were busy the entire event, which I'm so grateful for people who came out. Thank you so much. Like, it was so nice to meet you guys. We hugged everyone we could. Some people were very forward. They were like, I love the podcast. And it was like really easy to talk to them. And then some people wouldn't really mention it. And I was like, I'm not sure. I feel like you might be from the podcast. And then eventually it would come out and you'd be like, I'm so glad you came. So yeah, it was so lovely to meet people. I also had people come just for my videos, which was really nice. Yeah. I'm like, are you here from the podcast?
We talked about wallpaper a lot.
Yeah. And they're like, no, I'm here from the videos, from your videos. And so that was also really special. Got to meet some subscribers. And then we also just had a lot of foot traffic. Like, there was just people who were like, this is so cute. I love this truck. Are you here all the time? And we're like, no.
Yeah, a lot of people were just like really curious about the truck too, kind of like, whoa, what is this? What's going on? Like, there was a lot of curiosity surrounding it. And like, I think we probably mentioned, we were in like a parking lot. We were just in a parking lot, but like on a really busy street.
Yes.
And so there were a lot of people who would walk past and just be like, whoa. So it was really fun.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
We sold a lot of books, which is awesome. We almost sold 100. We sold, on the computer terminal, it says we sold 96. Yeah. But then I know we sold at least 2 or 3 more in cash. But we didn't sell enough. We didn't sell 4 or more. No, so we didn't reach 100, which I'm slightly like,
it was really close.
So close.
I mean, if you were to ring me through,
that's true. But
I have 2 books. I'm just saying that would be 2 extra sales technically.
But we also sold lots of T-shirts and mugs and hats and pins.
Yeah. And 1 pumpkin.
We sold 1.
There's 1 lucky person out there. Well, I should say I'm the lucky one. I couldn't believe that somebody wanted to buy my art. It was really nice.
It was beautiful. And then we sold 2 of Mama's chickens. Yeah. Which was great.
Yeah, we love that.
And yeah, what kind of books do you feel like?
I mean, speaking of the sales, before we actually jump into kind of what we sold, I tried to keep track.
Let's talk about
this because this is really important.
This is important. Because Raylene has been shaming me for a couple of months here, because at the beginning of everything, like before I'd ever done my first event, I ordered all my books, and I was like anxious about my inventory because I knew that like everyone puts stuff in a spreadsheet and tracks everything that they have is incoming and outgoing and everything. And I did it. I did it properly. I set up a big inventory. Connor helped me.
Yeah.
He was a library cataloger. Like, he helped me set up a really good one. I showed it to you. You said it was good.
Awesome.
I think you did give a suggestion on some change or something, but we like implemented it. It was beautiful. Went to my first event. It was so insanely busy that I was not able to keep track.
Yeah.
We tried for like most of the day, and Connor would like write down what I sold, but you've now seen it moves so busy fast. It moves so quickly. There's so many people buying books that you don't have time to just write down what they bought until the next person is in front of you and they've been waiting, and it's a small truck, so they don't have that much to look at, so they want to keep going, and so there's a lot of movement and like traffic, and so I stopped tracking. I haven't tracked anything about the sales. Like, obviously, I have all of my invoices.
Yeah.
So I do have records of everything that I've purchased, and I can
So if you
see.
wanted to, you could gather the data.
Easily.
It's a lot of work, but
Well, yeah, but now I don't have that many books left.
Yeah.
So I can just look at what I have left, and then that means those are the things I still have in stock. But like, everything else I've sold. So it is trackable, but I wasn't tracking during the time. Okay, I tell this to Raylene. A lot of judgment. Rayleen's like, I can't believe you're doing this. I want to fix your inventory. And she's like, I'm going to write down everything we sell. And I'm like, great.
Go for it.
That'd be good, because I also agree. I want that data. It's good data. Yeah. And like I said, we sold basically 100 books. And how many did you track?
I was able to keep track of 11.
Yeah.
And then things got out of control, because I would say this is, I think, maybe 4 or 5 sales, those 11 books.
Yeah.
And I feel like at that time things were moving like at a decent pace. Like, we would have someone, and then I'd be like, okay, we have a few moments to breathe. I can quickly just write down. So like the first book we sold was Sheets. Oh wait, so we did have a Sheets, but it was
we had one.
We had one, but it was gone.
That's
See,
awesome.
That's the thing. We forgot. We wouldn't have even been able to tell you that. So quickly, I'll just go through the list of ones we sold, and then we can kind of just noodle around from there.
Yeah.
From there, so we've got Sheets, Our Wives, Under the Sea, Crying in H Mart. Oh, Briefly a Delicious Life sold.
Yep.
See, Ping Pong Volume 1, which was a cool manga we had.
We also had another one, and that one did sell later on.
That was a really that was when things got crazy. I was like, I have to restock. And I was like, there's another ping pong. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. But we sold a copy of 11/22/63, which was one that I was like worried about ordering, because I was like, will anybody want that?
Yeah.
But luckily, one of you guys purchased it.
Yeah.
And she was so excited to find it. So that was great. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Anne of Green Gables kids book.
It was a little board book.
That one was really cool. 84 Charing Cross Road, Keep the Aspidistra Flying, Sourdough by Robin Sloan, and then a beautiful Hobbit hardcover.
Yes.
And then I lost track from there, but I did make some notes of some other highlights.
What did you note?
Yeah, my number one thing that I noticed is that we sold a lot of convenience store women. Like, we had, I think, 5 copies or something, and they were all gone by the end of the day.
It's crazy.
It was wild.
People want that book.
People really want that book. And we sold a few copies of Know My Name, which was, I mean, probably a little bit helped by the fact that I was there, like,
definitely,
you have to buy this book.
Yeah.
I was really pushing that one a lot, and like you mentioned, we sold a lot of Crying in H Mart. Like, we sold probably 3 copies at least of that book.
Yep.
We also sold quite a few 84 Charing Cross Roads. Like, I think we sold probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think we sold 3. Yeah.
And there was that one coffee damaged version from The Great Incident, and I was like, let's just put it out. Yeah. And somebody bought it. So
I sold it to them for $5.
Yes, it was very nice. And then, like you mentioned earlier, we sold The God of the Woods, which was another very exciting one. I was like, yes. What I really liked about this book selling experience versus my previous experiences is that I was excited about every single purchase.
I know.
Like, so I was excited to see what the people were buying. It was like, oh my gosh, it's not a stack of Clive Cussler mass markets. Like, thank you. And that's what I'm used to. Like, I'm used to selling used books to an assortment of people. But this was like people who like the books that we're selling, and people that like know who we are and have similar tastes to us.
It's true.
Like, so there was one person who was like, this is my taste. Like, kind of like everything you have on the, like, this is perfect.
Yeah, she was like, I've read almost everything on your truck because these are all books that I'm into.
I like. Yeah, and that was just so cool. We also sold a copy of Lesser Known Monsters of the 21st Century by Kim Fu, which I was like, yes. So
deep cut.
Yeah, that was a deep cut.
I agree. Like, it's so exciting. Every person that comes up with their little stack, and I'm like, oh, what a stack!
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Seeing the books that I love. Like, I was talking to someone, and they're like, what percentage of these books have you read? I was like, oh, most of them.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of in a bookshop.
That's so weird.
Like, the book owner can't read there's thousands of books
and especially because you want to have like the newest bestsellers.
Exactly.
Like, you want to have all these things that will sell, but that's not really what we had. Like, we had a curated collection of things that we think you should read.
Just books that I love. And so it's very particular to me. And so I do, like, whenever anyone asks me about a book, I can 80% of the time tell them what I actually love about it.
Yeah. And it was fun for people to ask for recommendations, and we were like, "Ooh, what do we do here?"
This one and this one and this one.
It made it really fun for recommending books because, like, in previous experience, it's like people would ask for recommendations, and I'm like, well, we don't have any of the books that I want to recommend, and like
one thing that was really great about doing the event with you, actually there was two things. One was that you were really good at restocking.
Yeah.
So because usually I'm the one that's like selling stuff and everything, and Connor always helps me get like sizes for shirts. So someone's like, "Can I get a medium in the green?" And I'm like, "Connor, we need a medium in the green."
And he
runs around and everything. And if I notice a book is like, I'm like, "Can you see if there's more My Year of Rest and Relaxation?" He'll go and get it. But you were kind of keeping an eye on.
I was helping with the actual sales as well as doing that. So I was like, okay, I know that was our last convenience store or whatever. So I would go run.
Yeah,
and
you were really good at
I kind of knew where things were a little bit because we like set up. Yeah. And also Kyle and Connor were off getting us food for a lot of the day. They got stuck in lots of lines. Yeah. So I was like, Connor's not here. So I was like, I have to be Connor.
You really stepped up. It was great. And then the other thing you were really good at was stamping.
Yeah, I was going to say I had a good time with
So here's the sitch.
Yeah.
I love to stamp. But I have weak wrists.
Yeah.
And I literally said to Raylene, I was like, "Raylene, could you take over stamping?" I was like, "My wrists hurt." And you were like, "I got this." And you were so good at stamping. Like, your stamps were coming out so clean.
But it was funny. The first stamp that I did, the first stamp of the day, was very bad.
It was bad.
So Sheets, whoever bought that copy of Sheets, I'm so sorry. I think that was the one I stamped. And then there was there was a gentleman who bought Ping Pong. I stamped it upside down.
Yes! I've never done that before. It was crazy.
I literally I went, and I'm so sorry. I was so shocked.
There's just nothing you can do because it's
you can't go back. Yeah, so I had my moments for sure.
That's really fun.
And I was like using this machine for the first time.
Yeah.
Like it was very fun though. I had a lot of fun.
It's manic. It's wild. It's funny. It's free.
It is.
It's great. It's a good time.
It's a good time, but now I have full understanding and respect for why you don't keep an inventory.
Thank you.
It's impossible. What I said after the event was, you can keep track if you had one person doing only that.
Yes.
They're not running around. They're not stamping. They're not ringing people through. They're not chatting. Like that has to be their one job.
Yeah.
And they're saying, "What did you?" Oh, yep. But it's impossible in a situation like this.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So
next year I'm hoping to like continue to upgrade my situation, and I would love to do a barcode scanner,
because that will be game changing.
That would be the next
step. Because
then
there's no, like, you don't have to do the extra work of trying to keep track. It keeps track for you.
I just have to then like keep the inventory alive every time I get a box. Like it has to be inserted so that scanning it is meaningful to the terminal.
Exactly.
Which
keeps the prices in there too, which is nice.
Yeah, which is very cool.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to do the event with you. Yeah. I feel like we had a blast.
It was really joyful.
And it was like very action packed, and at the very end,
I was gonna say the weather was perfect.
The weather was perfect until the very end. So we were supposed to be like selling books from 10:30 to 2:30. Yeah. And we were probably ready by like 10:15. Yeah. And when people started to kind of file in, and we went until 2:00 when it started to suddenly rain.
Yeah.
Which is so scary.
Really scary.
Because books get destroyed in the water.
Yeah. And there was a moment like half an hour before where there was the lightest sprinkle. And we were like, this isn't a problem.
So we're like, this is okay. And then it stopped.
And it went away.
And we were like, okay.
It was beautiful again.
No problem. And then like half an hour later, it started to like
there was nothing we could do.
And so we just rushed, and like, this is what Connor and CJ are good at this, because this has happened to me before. Oh. But like they basically just rush, get all the boxes, bring it to me. I load all the books and give it to them, get the next box, and we just quickly put everything away in the car so that it's safe. But yeah, so we had to end the event a little bit early.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one more thing that I need to talk about before we talk about the things that we got. And this is a conspiracy and a scandal.
Oh my God.
We posted a photo of us next to the book truck. And we posted it on Instagram to just be like, we did the book truck event. Yeah. It was super cute. Yay, everything is good. And I got so many comments from people who were like, oh my God, I can't believe Raylene is taller than Ariel. She's so much taller than Ariel. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know why this is bothering me so much, but I am slightly taller than Raylene. And it's because that parking lot was on a slant. Yeah. And even when we took that photo, you said out loud, you were like, wow, I look so tall.
I look really tall in that photo. Should we go stand back there so we can show our real heights?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
We're the same height. We might be the same height. I'm 5'7.5".
I haven't measured myself in an awful long time.
Maybe I've shrunk.
Maybe I'm 7 and 5'7"
Maybe
and a half.
5'7" and a half.
I don't know.
We're at the minimum. Neither of us is much taller than the other.
We're the same height.
I think we might be the same height. And I'm happy to accept being the same height.
Yeah.
But I am not shorter than Raylene.
No.
All right, back to business.
Back to business.
So, I'll tilt you guys back down and we will finish this episode with a little bit of a haul.
Yes.
Because, and truly, I did not expect this.
Oh, we have to mention the muffins that we don't have.
Yeah,
today.
you're right. We did not expect this. Early on, somebody brought us a muffin.
Yeah.
No, 2 muffins.
Yeah.
I am not kidding when I say best muffins I've ever had.
It was so good.
So
Pumpkin,
moist.
cream cheese
Icing,
moist.
pumpkin-y, carroty thing. It was unbelievable.
I ate mine way later that night. Still delicious.
I ate mine during the event because I was starving and I had this muffin. I was like, this is perfect. Euphoric.
Yeah.
Euphoric.
It was so nice. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And I forget everyone's name.
Yeah.
Because we met
tough.
like 100 people and it was like, it was crazy. But we had people bring us stuff. So we wanted to kind of like share it with you because it's so exciting.
Yeah.
One person, it was someone's husband.
Yes.
And he was like, my wife sent me here. And he gave us
on a
mission. He gave us these 2 stickers because he was saying that they're from Whitehorse.
Yeah.
So they gave us these cute stickers.
And he bought a bunch of stuff.
He bought some books for his wife, which was really cute.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
We had this lovely person who bought. What was her name? I forget.
I don't know. I want to say Angela, but I feel like that's wrong.
Ooh.
She looked like an Angela.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know if that.
I feel that actually.
If that resonates with you,
but she came to the truck and we had such a cute chat with her, and she bought some books, and then she left.
Yeah.
And then maybe half an hour later, she came back and she gave us socks. She gave us these cute socks
and a pin.
Yes, they say I heart books all over them.
Yes, they're actually mismatched socks. So one of them says
they?
that, and the other one is just
they're books.
It's a bookshelf.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that. And then we also got pins. My pin says the cat told me to do it.
And mine says cats against cat calls, which I love. That's perfect. I love that.
That's so cute.
So thank you for doing that. It was funny. We weren't expecting that at all. She just showed up and was like,
we were like, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, Imogen came up
Yes.
and gave us these sweet letters. It was so lovely to meet her. She was so nice, and she was saying that she's like watched us since old booktube days. So that was crazy.
Really sweet. A really nice interaction.
Sweet, and we loved our letters.
Yes.
And then we also had, I don't remember. Maybe she wrote her name on the thingy.
I think it's Anna.
Yes, Anna. Wonderful. Anna from
love
Newfoundland.
Anna. Oh my goodness.
She came, this was above and beyond. She gave us each a book.
Yes.
And little coasters with our initials.
Yeah.
But like, I think my favorite part.
This is so good. So check this out.
It says unbind books to get to their hearts, and then on this side it matches, and it says it's Ariel and Raylene.
It was funny though because I found mine earlier than Ariel did, and I looked at it and I was like, I know exactly what's happening. Yours is gonna say it's Ariel on it.
Because that's what we say.
It's our intro.
At the beginning of every episode.
So that is so sweet.
Such a cute bookmark.
Yes.
But yeah, let's talk about the books that we got, including the books that she gave us, but also you bought some books on the truck.
Yeah, let's bring it on. So first of all, just amazed. We were just amazed that
couldn't believe it.
She gave these.
Had no idea what was going on.
And they're like beautiful, brand new hardcovers.
Unbelievable.
Like it was too nice.
It was so wild.
It was so wild. But what's fun is that I've never heard of this one. I know this is Veronica Roth, so it's kind of on my radar, but I've never heard of this one. It's called An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. And it's like a modern sapphic retelling of Carmilla, which that's that vampire book that like Dracula is kind of inspired by, right? Like it came before Dracula. So this is, I think it's about 2 women who are at college and they fall into some kind of relationship. I don't know too much about it, but it is still vampire-y.
Cool.
And I was just like flipping through it the night I got it, and there's like a content warning at the beginning, which notes that there's blood, gore, and murder. Ooh. So I was like, oh, okay, so this seems pretty intense. Uneven power dynamics, so I think Carmilla might be a teacher or something, perhaps. Like there's a whole thing going on, and I just think that sounds juicy. Yeah. And like it'll be a really fun romp.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, like it seems perfect for me, so good job.
I was gifted When Among Crows by Veronica Roth, which is so fun because I haven't read anything from Veronica Roth since Divergent.
Yeah.
And interestingly, this is also a retelling. Oh! So we have a similar vibe going on. Cool. It says it is drawing from the deep well of Slavic folklore and asking if redemption and atonement can be found in embracing what we most fear. Sounds cool. And it's short. It's about a character who has, I think, chronic pain, which is relatable, right? And also very short, which I think that she knew that I love a short book. And it's like 160 pages or something. Perfect. So, So, again, I want to thank everyone who came to the truck from the podcast. Like, if you didn't bring us something, like, we're so
I was
grateful.
amazed that there were so many people.
It was so fun to meet so many people. I was so nervous that no one would come, and so many people came.
Above and beyond.
And thank you also for everyone's patience, just because there was a couple of moments when there was a lineup. Yeah. And it was like, we can't go fast.
No, there's nothing we can do.
Because we want to have a moment with each person, right? But nobody complained even a little bit. Like, everyone was so kind and peaceful and having fun, and I heard people chatting with each other in the line, so it was really a wonderful time. And if you brought us a little gift, thank you as well. Like, it was so unexpected. All right, now let's talk about the books that you bought for me.
Yeah, so the very first thing I did when we started setting up was I was, putting all the books on the shelves, and I found one book that I had specially ordered, as I mentioned earlier. And I said to Ariel, did we order 1 or 2 of these? And I said, I think we might have just ordered 1 because I wanted it. Yes. And so I was like, I'm just going to set this aside. And if there's a second one, I'll put it on the shelf. And that book is Kick the Latch by Catherine Scanlon, which is this cool, it's actually kind of like a little book.
I love how tiny it is.
It's so teeny tiny. And this is one that was recommended by someone, I think in our Discord recently. And I think I talked about it at the end of an episode. And I was like, I really want this book. It's like kind of half fiction, half nonfiction. Like the author interviewed someone who is like a horse derby person, and so she got a lot of like real information directly from this person and wrote a novel about it. So that's all I really know. Like,
that's cool.
It's about horse racing.
Awesome.
And it sounds so cool. And it's like just a teeny tiny little book. It's another nice short one. It's only 127-ish
and
pages
it has
long.
insanely huge margins.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice quick read, and I'm just really excited to have that. So I'm really glad that I set this aside because somebody might have snatched it right up.
Nice bookmark.
Yeah. Oh, what do we have here? A nice little Books Unbound. Nope, not Books Unbound. Cassette books. Cassette books. We've been getting those mixed up a little bit.
We have, actually.
It's really confusing. And then the other book that I got, my copy is, spoiler alert, still in a box. This is Ariel's, but I am stealing this book from her book truck. This is Parnassus on Wheels by Christopher Morley.
So cool.
And yeah, you had this copy, but there's also a different cover, which I didn't like as much. Yeah. And so I didn't realize that you had another copy of this, and I was like, oh, I really want that book. And she said, take it. So I'm taking it. So yeah, this is the one that's about a bookshop on wheels.
Yes, it's about a woman who, her and her brother live on a farm, and I haven't gotten far enough to tell you much more. Yeah. But she is going to become a bookseller on wheels, which is me.
So exciting. So yeah, it felt like the perfect book to get from Ariel's book truck.
Yeah, that's true actually. I need to stamp it.
Yeah.
I need to stamp it.
Oh my gosh, yes. I need you to stamp both of my books.
Yeah, let's do that today.
Let's do that immediately. But yeah, I'm so excited to have these. These were supposed to be like my 2 tiny books that I got, but as you will know from last week's episode, I got a lot more books than I meant to get. Whoops.
Also, I gave you a Bassett Books t-shirt.
Yes.
Which is pretty exclusive because I only got 10 of them printed.
It's an amazing t-shirt.
And I'm only giving them to booksellers, like Bassett Books booksellers. Yeah. So basically, I've had so many friends join me as booksellers for the day of the event. And like Kaylee, who was here a couple weeks ago, did an event with me. And other friends who have helped out, I just give them a shirt. So you got a Bassett Books t-shirt.
Yes, it's amazing. And I would have worn it today, but I wore it to activate. And it's really sweaty.
Which also reminds me, we need to do laundry.
Yeah, let's do that.
We have great things to do today. All right, well, there you have it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again for coming out to the truck if you did. And, our hearts go out to everyone who messaged us with, we had so many messages that were, Googling flights from Germany to Halifax.
Yeah, crying in Dutch.
Yeah, they were very funny. So I know that it's a physical event, so not everyone can come, but we're really grateful to the people that came.
Yeah, 100%.
And we're excited that we got to do this kind of wrap-up episode for everyone who didn't. Oh, that reminds me, one of the people who came, and she's the one who bought, it was Jalen, the one who bought the Anne of Green Gables board book. She made a really cute reel about visiting the truck. So we'll link that in the description.
That gives you a little bit of a view
it's
of
a little
what it looked
in
like.
the day of little mini vlog, which was really cute. So there you have it. Thanks so much everyone for watching this episode, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.